inside the city is chaos and outside is order. But the Roman world, you had streets that went in straight lines already 2,000 years ago. And so the city was something well ordered. How many stairs? I never So everybody knew where they're going, right? So it was really great shopping. It's not like we go into a shop and then we find out this is not where we want to be shopping and we go out again. You didn't have to make that mistake. You just looked and it said, oh, well, this is where we need to be going.
One thing to remember is when are we talking about as far as time frame? Yeah, we're talking about second century, right? Okay. Now, for us, what's significant about this is after the persecution of Christians in Jerusalem. Okay. What does the Bible say that the Christians did?
Dispersed.
They dispersed. They went everywhere preaching the word. You would expect Christians to have somewhat of an influence, and if that were the case, you would expect there to be churches. And we'll see as we go down there and look at some of the excavations if that has been discovered, won't we? If there is any evidence that there was a Christian influence. We may find something, we may not. But I want you to think about this, that if you lived at that time and you were a believer, you would have had a great opportunity in a very pagan environment to make an impact for Christ.
But that kind of room would not just be for a massage. Those kinds of rooms would also be for oratory, yes, for speech. In the Roman world, if you couldn't make a good speech, you weren't going anywhere. So, what you have here are these little piles which are often made of ceramics. And this would be the support of the floor. And below this, as Pastor Mike would say, you had underground heating. We're just getting it in Israeli apartments, but they had it here 2,000 years ago. You had a furnace outside that sent hot air into the room, under the floor. It's getting heated. Then there were pipes going up the side of the wall, and that was heating the walls. Then you come along and you throw cold water on the hot floor and you get steam. So you get the perfect sauna. Of course, you would need to replenish the cold water all the time. So you have to get your slaves to run backwards and forwards with water all the time, which is how you get the English expression running water. Do we believe the guy right now? Is this going to be correct? No, of course. There was a pipe, my dears, bringing the cold water splashing down on the floor there. I hope you realize that running water is in the massage. Later, by the way, this whole thing became the Turkish bath. It's just a simple continuation of the Roman world. Just like bullfighting is a continuation of the arena of the Roman world. These are just things that remain to us in the 20th century. So you see,
in the wilderness of Judea, saying, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. For this, he who was spoken, this is he who was spoken by the prophet Isaiah, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, get the description of John the Baptist here. It says, now John himself was clothed in camel's hair, with a leather belt around his waist, and food and locusts and wild beasts. There's a reason for that. His clothing and his diet made him stand out. He was unique. He was not one of the people. He was obviously set apart from.
Shepherd my people, help set them free. God said to Abram, make a nation for me. I'll make your descendants like the sand of the sea. Where are you going? What will you do?
So, they had the number one element that was needed for knowing that this
God said to
was the
Moses,
essence. They had
bring
water.
Israel to me,
Now they need to know
that they may
can
serve
have community meals.
for all
And
to
guess
see.
what they found? They
God
found
sent
a
you
room
prophets,
full of this
yes, come
amount
from your
of
land.
pottery.
So
Now,
the
no
spirit
one
of stupor
family would need that amount of pottery that was
continues to
found
laugh.
here. Hundreds of pots.
Where are you going?
So, when you have hundreds of pots, that's communal meeting.
I've been faithful.
We've just done 2 and 2 and made 22. Because in a moment I'll show you how all that was wrong. But I love you to see this. These are the jars that you would put with water, and this will be for ritual purification of the hands. When you go in a hotel, you will see a jar, in any restaurant, you will see a jug with 2 handles. Have you seen that already when you go to places where washing of the hands is? No? No. Look out for it, because the way you wash your hands is you take the ritual water with this hand, you pour over this hand. This hand has been cleansed. Then with the cleansed hand, you pour over this hand. But this hand, the first one to be cleansed, was not properly pure, because when you put the pure water, this hand was still not clean. So you do this one a second time. So that's why you have the 2 handles, okay? That's how you, and this would be exactly a jar that would have been at the wedding in Cana. You're actually seeing the exact jar that you would have found in Cana.
Shepherd my people, help set them free. Shepherd my people, bring them to me. Shepherd my people, please help
After Masada, you would have seen that there are 11 rooms just like that on Masada. But there, they didn't find 930 texts. So they weren't looking for a scriptorium. On Masada, they just checked what was found in those 11 rooms, and they came to the immediate conclusion that they were storerooms. And guys, I want you to have a look at this room. And when I show you the storerooms on Masada, tell me, honestly, if it doesn't look exactly the same.
lead them to me. Shepherd my people, help set them free. Shepherd my people, bring them to me. Shepherd my people,